Well, hello everyone. When I was invited to come here to speak, I had a message from Antoine, sitting far away in Paris right now, saying me, I asked him, oh, it's okay, I'm just gonna go up there and tell a joke or two, and then I go home. And he said, no, you have to be brilliant. So no pressure there, Antoine. So I understand most of you here are students, and then in Paris we have library professionals. So my question to the students is, how many times have you heard someone tell to you, you're studying library science? Really? What do you study there? Like how to shelf books? You have to go to school for that? Or for library professionals, oh, it's so nice that you work in a library. You get to read books all day. So you had or will have both experiences in your life. And is it okay? Okay. And there's also always a question, how can you work in a library without a bun on your head? We recently had this unconference for librarians in Belgrade, where the participants were supposed to perform a sketch in the form of an interview. So there was this couple of librarians doing the interview, and there was a fake phone call during the conversation. So the woman said, well, hello, Mrs. Librarian. Where is your bun? Where on earth is your bun? This is outrageous. But the librarian answered, I had it cut off nicely, then I archived it, then I digitized it, and we're adding metadata so we make it available for the wider audience. Creative, yes, we are. So I would just like to say briefly what I do in my librarian life. This is what I like to call ordinary day. Can you tell where we are here in this photo? On the roof of the university library, yes. 2017 was for me all about construction works, managing construction project, and roof repairs. While I was a student, I always dreamt about doing construction works, actually. So other ordinary days for me involve lots of training for librarians, workshops from IT and digital marketing to advocacy and SDGs. I also am involved with Serbian Library Association up to here and with IFLA, as you probably heard in the introduction. And I work a lot with students on public relations in libraries and management. Now imagine a situation like this. A young librarian walks into the director's office and says, Mr. Director, I have a great idea. I know how to make this library more visible. I know how to make it really a center of community. And I know how to get money for that. And the director says, wonderful, young man. This is what we've been waiting for, actually. We love fresh ideas. We love changing things, even taking risks to do that. Or the director says, sure, we have all been just waiting for you. How long have you been with us, and who are you to tell us what to do? So in our careers, we stumble upon both situations. And now the question is how to deal with different levels of acceptance. Speaking of different levels, this is how I perceive what I do and what I think most of librarians do. We have our workplace. Then next level would be wider library community, and then the international scene. So if you think of emotions like fear of change or vanity, of being perceived, you the new professional, being perceived as a threat, where would you put it among those circles most likely? Where would you find these emotions? Well, at the workplace most of the time, because the farther you are from your workplace, that's like the less threat you are to people at your place of work. So the question is now, how do we overcome this? How do we deal with this? How do we keep our engines running? How do we create more energy, develop ideas, and make them come to life? Let me share this story with you. It's just an illustration to show you where I come from. So a couple of years ago, I received this award, and during the reception speech, like a thank you speech, I started it with a joke. I was quoting my father, who spoke English with a very strong Serbian accent. And everyone laughed, from librarians to major library directors. But then, during my speech, I called them out for not hiring graduated librarians. They've been hiring all sorts of people with different diplomas or without diplomas, but librarians with degrees in library science, they're always the last in line. So I called them out. I just asked them to be our heroes, and I understood their position. They're under a lot of political pressure, but I asked to hire one graduated librarian every once in a while. And those smiling faces turned into sour faces, like the director in the cartoon. Because we have a situation where, for example, this library hired a woman who used to work in a grocery store. So now she's a librarian. And then when a patron walked in one day, he asked, "Do you have a book, Love in the Time of Cholera?" She said, "I think so. The books in medicine are over there." And it's a real thing. I didn't make this up. And also, it's not just on a library level, and it's not just in Serbia, it's in many countries worldwide. But in Serbia, in this one smaller city, a mayor of the city hired his own sister to run the finances for the city, to manage finances. And when they asked him, "Why would you do that? Why would you hire your own sister to do that?" He said, "Well, whom to trust better than your own blood?" So this is where I come from. Now, the T-shirt that I wore during the reception, I'm wearing it here also, and I wore it in many, many occasions later. It's actually part of the brand. It's a fashion line that we, the graduated librarians, invented. It's called Librarians, so to say. It's a made-up word. And we like to wear it, of course, to fight the stereotypes, but also to enjoy wearing it. That's the point. Now let's go to a more heroic example of what a young librarian can do. This example comes from Bosnia and Herzegovina. This guy that you see here, his name is Mašo. He's also known as the Knight of Librarianship. And he may seem like a joker to you when you see his outfit, but he actually has a really good concept of what he does. He's also fighting for the status of graduated librarians, and he got an award last year for doing that. And from the money, from the award, he bought a camera and he made a documentary. He interviewed people who work with books, with different kind of media and materials, from street booksellers to acknowledged professors. And this movie just premiered in Serbia, not in Bosnia, as you see the circles, as I say. He's not really welcome to do that still in Bosnia, but we had the premiere there, and it's going to be subtitled. But in the meantime, he told me to say hi to you and just to play this trailer. No sound. So he has this movement called the Movement for Liberation of Librarianship. Or it's a bad translation, but I don't know better. So standing strong alone is one thing, but being part of the team, that's a whole different level of involvement. Have you heard of the IFLA's finest, the new professionals? You probably have, at least today. So not all of us on the team, I'm the convener of this group since last year, and not all of us on the team are really new professionals, but it doesn't matter really. What matters is dedication, its desire, its initiative, and also being creative and innovative and wanting to do different projects internationally. And you don't have to be IFLA member to join this group, just so you know. This is the team from 2017 to 2019, and as you see, we have this here. We have Antoine from France, then there's me, there's Hassan from Senegal, there's Gloria, our great supporter, Magdalena from Poland, Maria from Croatia. We also have Andrew from Australia and Gostia from United States. So as you see, we come from all over the world. And this group is very dynamic, and the structure changes all the time. So this is our business meeting during last year's IFLA conference in Poland. Has any one of you been to this meeting? We missed you. Why didn't you come? So in 45 minutes, we managed to make a plan for the entire 2018. The sessions in Kuala Lumpur, the webinars, the interviews, also the logo. IFLA proposed the new logo for us, and we didn't like it. So we asked if we could create our own logo. And this is what you saw on, just a moment, on this slide. And we didn't want to play smart, so we opened a contest for it. And this student of library science from Germany, Nadine, she won the contest. This is her idea to have a logo like this. So we, as I said, we did everything in 45 minutes. And it is so cool because it's all volunteer work, but it's stress-free and it makes you feel really, really happy. You know, when I was studying library science, I used to learn a lot about IFLA, this big organization up there doing big things. But now, being part of this huge change, huge transformation, and working with so many amazing librarians from around the world, that just makes you feel, I don't know, super adventurous and super happy. And as one of the new professionals recently said, well, IFLA became important only in 2004, when the new professionals were founded. It was a joke, of course. So during the IFLA conference last year, we had the famous IFLA camp. It's a 2-day unconference. We dedicated the first day, as you see here, for the creative movement workshop and later discussions. And then the second day was cycling for libraries. Gloria Perez Salmeron, she opened the unconference, and as I said, apart from being a great president of IFLA, she's a great supporter of the new professionals. She even participated in the movement workshop. She took her shoes off and danced with us. I have a video, I'm not going to show it, don't worry. Later during the day, Loida Garcia-Febo, ALA president-elect, also joined us for the discussions. She's one of the founders of the new professionals. So we did many things during the conference that we planned. I think 4 or 5 sessions, the IFLA camp, and so on. But there is something that we didn't really plan ahead. We just decided in the evening we're going to do it tomorrow, and it's Flash Mob. Has anyone seen it? No? Excellent. Take a look.
Le dédommagement de tous mes maux par la tranquillité qu'elle me procure et qui ne pouvait s'allier avec le travail continu d'une résistance aussi pénible qu'infructueuse. Une autre chose a contribué à cette tranquillité. Dans tous les raffinements de leur haine, mes persécuteurs en ont omis un, que leur animosité leur a fait oublier. C'était d'en graduer si bien les effets qu'ils puissent entretenir et renouveler mes douleurs sans cesse en me portant quelque nouvelle atteinte.
What make their lives. The door still opens and all our heads turn to Mom appeared, her hand still on the chest as if that motion alone would bring her breath.
Što prevrnuti, tako sam rekla, sedeći pod poklopcem, sitna I nepokretna kao zrno pirinča. Oni odižu ringle.
I know he looks thin, but some nourishing soups will bring him up again. Ask Great Auntie May, she knows all the right herbs to use, like ginseng. No, it's not that.
Steps remain popular well into the 19th century. In conventional form, Ostatnio spędzałem wakacje. Wtedy była to mała, bezbarwna wioska, nieopodal której znajdowało się kilka większych domów.
เรื่องเดียวกันหลักการวารสารศาสตร์ที่ศึกษาในสำนักคิดวารสารศาสตร์แต่ละแห่งกล่าวไว้อย่างชัดเจนแต่เหตุผลที่สำคัญ
U Londonu pada kiša. Kiša spira prljavštinu u odvode, od potoka pravi reke, a od reka sile prirode. Kiša je bučna, pa prska, dobuje i zveči po krovovima. Sve i da sa neba pada čista voda, dovoljno...
Denn das Wissen unabhängig vom Portemonnaie des Nutzers verfügbar bleibt. An diesem Grund, il était devenu expert en dossier. Il est préparé avec une belle filière.
Demuestra que os membros da rede compartem informação de maneira continuada, buscando melhoras no trabalho.
And news now came by radio alone. The Royal Navy was a very small fleet now. Several small ships.
Avevano un geppetto, ma i ragazzi del vicinato, quando lo volevano far montare su tutte le furie, lo chiamavano col soprannome di Polendina.
We sometimes discuss the events leading to his accident.
So as you saw, we did everything. We read, then we danced a little bit, and then we froze in the end. And there were around 50 of us at this event. And then after that, everyone asked us, "Hey, are you gonna do it again? Do you want to?" I said, "Are you gonna do it?" So it's not really difficult. Although people who walked on the streets looked at us like, "Who are they? What are they doing?" No, but it was an attraction. So off to a little bit different topic, the IFLA Leaders Program. So this is, I'm wearing the same T-shirt here again, but a different hat, as they say. And this program is slightly different. It's not a group, it's not a section, it's a program for 2 years, from 2016 to 18. We're second cohort of the leaders. We come from different countries, Colombia, Mexico, Senegal, United States, Egypt, China, Latvia, Philippines. And we are a mix of leaders. When I say leaders, I don't necessarily mean directors of libraries. None of us is a director of a library, or some of us are presidents of library associations. But what IFLA wanted to recognize in this group is that you are a leader in your community. You don't have to be a formal leader, so to say. But if they invest in you, their resources, their time, their money, they want to see what happens then. Like, how can you transfer that knowledge and skills further? Can you build a wider library community, maybe across borders? This is one of the projects that I'm going to mention that we're working on, and I'm really proud of it. It's called Stories That Matter. So this is what it's about. You know how libraries worldwide are doing great things, providing wonderful services, great programs for their patrons, great projects. You probably can think of at least one great success story from Lyon area. But how many stories do we know? Do we know all of them? No, I don't think we know enough. And we cannot do our advocacy well enough if we don't have such data. And data is not only about library map of the world that Gloria talked about. This is an addition to this website, and actually you can find some examples of stories already on library map of the world. Just go there, it says SDG stories, because everything libraries do can be connected to sustainable development goals. And this is what libraries worldwide have been doing many, many years, but only we know that. We know that, and maybe our patrons and so on, but governments don't know this. So this is a way to collect the stories from entire world so we can do our advocacy better. Because you know what librarians do most of the time? They tell stories upside down. Imagine a situation, you're in an elevator with some important person, like mayor of the city, and you have 30 seconds to tell him something, to use this opportunity. It's the famous elevator pitch. What will you do in those 30 seconds? Well, in my country and lots of other countries, people usually start with, our library was founded in 1924. It is one of the most important institutions of culture, and he's already asleep. Doesn't matter if you're talking to someone or writing a letter or you're asking for a scholarship. Think of it like in a wider and a narrower picture. What we need to do when we do that is to have the hook at the beginning. We have to have like intriguing title and then the first and second sentence. That's something that you can catch someone's attention with. If you don't do that in the first and second sentence, he goes on reading. It's the same with the newspapers. You know, for yourself, when you, or your blog posts, when you go and read something, you don't give too much chance to everything. So another thing that will come out of this project, first is by the end of January, we will have IFLA will publish storytelling guidelines. But after that, there's going to be a series of short video tutorials because no one likes long videos anymore. Like 5 minutes is really too long already. But like 1, 2, 3 minutes tutorials on how to create stories, how to use media to make powerful impacts, like creating effective videos in 1 minute and so on. So it should be all done by the August this year. What I also wanted to say is that the leaders on the program are not all of us are doing it through our national associations because not everyone could get support, like moral support from them. So there's always a way. Some are doing it through the NGOs. So this is what I wanted to say. There is always a way. If someone doesn't like you, you can find a way to do it anyway. So let's try this. Have you heard of literature bait? This publishing house, Wild Detectives from Texas, they were very creative when advertising some of the titles. Instead of putting the real name of the book, they tried with this. Can you guess which book is this? British guy dies after selfie gone wrong. Any ideas? You know it. Okay, let's try the second one. You'll never guess what happened to this Kansas teen after a tornado destroys her home. I hear you mumbling something. I'll show you later. This Italian politician makes Trump look like a saint. Those are all famous book titles. And I could never guess the last one. Backpacker had the worst trip of his life when island tribe attacked him with poop. So these are the titles. The Portrait of Dorian Gray, then Wizard of Oz, The Prince from Machiavelli, and Gulliver, right? So the message was, you fell for the title, now fall for a book. I'm not saying we should do this, but this is a good inspiration. So one of the most important things, being part of a conference or a meeting like this, or part of a program, is networking for me. Connecting with people, chatting with people, you never know what can come out of it. This was during the IFLA conference. It was on the rooftop of one of the hotels, and all the leaders were invited to join for a reception that was organized by the Gates Foundation, actually. And it was a really cool thing. But 1 month before that, I was in New York Public Library, part of this event. And one of my tasks was to bring people from one room to another for a short interview. So I would pick out someone and take him there. So I see this person, this woman, she seems familiar, and I asked her, would you like to come with me to the next room for a short interview? She says, yes, of course. So we started walking. And I asked her, so what do you do? She says, well, I'm the director of the Global Libraries, Deborah Jacobs. I'm like, oh my God, I should have known that, you know. But she kept on smiling. She wasn't offended that I didn't recognize her. So 1 month later, we met here, and I told her, I know who you are. And she smiled again. And I think in Serbia, I would be on some sort of a blacklist for not recognizing one of the major players in library field. How much? Okay. So off to the conference 2018 in Kuala Lumpur. Do you know where IFLA Camp 2018 is going to be held? In Malaysia, of course. So, but this is one great library. I call it a spaceship library. It's in Selangor. Speaking of networking, the director of this library approached me during the IFLA conference in Poland, and she said, you must have IFLA Camp in our library. We're going to provide you with everything. And I was so shocked, stunned, because this is the most difficult task when doing something like this. You have to find a space. So we already found it. We're going to have it there. Then, do you know which session new professionals are going to have also during the IFLA conference? Do you know the topic? Can you recognize? Guess? It's a fashion session. So we don't just accept talks, regular presentations, but also slam poetry, sketches, whatever you come up with, as long as it's short. And the calls are open until February 18, if you're considering going to IFLA. If you think you don't have money to go, you can always apply to volunteer. The call is still open. And then as for the trip, I've heard that you have some sort of funding here that you can apply for. And you can also try the crowdfunding platforms if you like. So if you don't plan to travel, there's so much to do even without traveling. Online, we, the new professionals, we have the blog, we have social media, we work a lot on webinars. We also do interviews. So if you have any ideas how to make all this better, just come out and say. So we are there. You can find us easily. You're librarians. You will find the information. And my message is be creative as you are. Stay brave, because you always have to make your case. And remember, it's not important to get everyone on board, but only those who matter. And now here's your chance to make a difference. I would like to ask you just to go to this. Are you all connected? Most of you are. Go to menti.com, type in this code, and vote for the topics of webinars for 2018. It's webinars that are organized by new professionals, IFLA, ALA, and some more groups. But the thing is, what you choose here, the influence you make are going to define which 4 top topics are going to be selected for 2018, and then we're going to bring speakers. If you have suggestions about the speakers, just let us know, of course. Did you type in menti.com 533657? You can vote later, of course. You can write down this information. And just for the end, to show you what it looks like now, moment. You will see the results in a minute. While they show up, I would like to thank you for your attention and for having me here, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.